Before you decide how long you're going to stay with this video, let me tell you something quietly. There is a reason you are hearing these words now. Not earlier today, not tomorrow, not another night. Now. Because Allah does not always change your life with events. Sometimes He changes it with a realization. And tonight, I want to leave you with a question you will still be carrying when this video ends. A question that may explain why certain people disappeared from your life. Why certain places stopped feeling like home. Why certain desires quietly died inside you without you forcing them to. But I will not give you that answer yet. Because if I tell you now, it will sound like words. And Allah doesn't work through words alone. He works through recognition. So as you listen, I want you to notice something. Notice which parts of this message feel like they are speaking directly to you. Notice which moments make your chest feel heavy. Notice which lines feel like they are describing something you've never told anyone. Because by the time you reach the end of this video, you may realize Allah wasn't taking something away from you. He was preparing you for something you were not yet strong enough to carry. And when that becomes clear, the way you see your past, your pain and your position in this world will never be the same again. So don't listen to this like content. Listen to this like a moment Allah scheduled. Because the last thing I will share with you tonight is not something you will hear in a video. It's something you will recognize in your own life. And once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. Allah is teaching you that your heart is also a trust, not just a tool. There was a time when you believed your heart existed only for others. You believed it was something you were supposed to give away, piece by piece, day by day, until there was almost nothing left for yourself. You believed that being good meant being available, that being kind meant always saying yes, that being patient meant staying silent even when something inside you was slowly breaking. You carried their pain even when your own shoulders felt tired. You listened to their worries even when your chest felt full. You stayed strong even when inside you felt weak, just so they could feel safe. And every time you felt tired, you told yourself, this is what Allah loves. Every time you felt hurt, you whispered, this is sabr. Every time you felt invisible, you said, this is kindness. And yes, Allah loves the one who is gentle. Allah loves the one who helps. Allah loves the one who shows mercy to others. But Allah never created you to disappear inside your goodness. He never gave you a heart so it could be used until it no longer knows how to feel. He never placed life inside you so you could slowly lose yourself trying to hold everyone else together. Your heart is not just a tool. It is not just something to be used, emptied and filled again by the world. Your heart is an amana, a trust, something Allah placed in your care before He ever allowed anyone else to touch it. Think about that for a moment. Before anyone called you by your name, before anyone loved you or hurt you, before anyone entered your life and left it, Allah placed this heart inside you. He shaped it. He gave it the ability to feel. He gave it the ability to love. He gave it the ability to be soft, to be strong, to be patient, to be hopeful. And when Allah gives something, it is never meaningless. So when you treat your heart like something small, something unimportant, something that can be stepped on and ignored, you are not just hurting yourself, you are forgetting the value of what Allah gave you. Sometimes you give so much that you forget to ask, who is taking care of me? Sometimes you listen to everyone else's pain, but you never speak about your own. Sometimes you keep smiling so others don't feel uncomfortable, even when inside you feel like crying. You become the strong one, the reliable one, the one who is always there. And people get used to that version of you. They get used to you carrying the weight. They get used to you understanding. They get used to you forgiving. They get used to you staying. And slowly, without realizing it, they stop asking how you are. Not because they are always bad, not because they always mean harm, but because you taught them that you will always be okay. And deep inside, something in you starts to feel tired. Not tired in the body, tired in the soul. You wake up one day and you feel heavy for no clear reason. You sit in places that used to feel warm and now they feel empty. You speak to people you love and your words feel like they don't reach them anymore. And you ask yourself, why do I feel like this? What is wrong with me? Nothing is wrong with you. Something is waking up inside you. Sometimes Allah allows your heart to become tired, not because you are failing, but because you have been carrying more than you were meant to carry. There is a difference between being patient and being crushed. Patience is trusting Allah while walking through hardship. Patience is holding on to faith while waiting for ease. Patience is staying kind without losing yourself. But hurting yourself to keep others comfortable is not patience. Staying in places that slowly empty you is not worship. Letting your heart be stepped on and calling it sabr is not what Allah asks from you. Allah does not want you to bleed silently in the name of being good. Sometimes you give so much love that you forget that you also need love. Sometimes you give so much understanding that you forget that you also deserve to be understood. Sometimes you give so much mercy that you forget that Allah also wants you to show mercy to yourself. And that is when Allah begins to slow you down. He makes your heart feel heavy. He makes your energy feel low. He makes your soul feel tired. Not to punish you, but to make you stop. Because if you never stop, you will keep giving until there is nothing left. And Allah did not create you to become empty. He created you to be alive. There are moments when Allah pulls you away from the noise of the world, just enough so you can finally hear your own heart. You begin to notice how you feel after certain conversations. You begin to notice how you feel in certain places. You begin to notice how you feel around certain people. Some spaces leave you calm. Some spaces leave you heavy. Some people leave you closer to Allah. Some people leave you further away from who you want to be. And slowly, gently, without any loud signs, Allah starts teaching you something simple. Pay attention to what touches your heart. Because your heart is not just flesh. It is the place where your faith lives. It is the place where your intentions grow. It is the place where your connection with Allah is felt. So when you keep placing it in spaces that harden it, darken it, or exhaust it, something inside you begins to change. You become quieter, not because you have nothing to say, but because you are tired of speaking where you are not heard. You become more careful, not because you stopped caring, but because you started caring about the right things. You begin to choose where your emotions go. You begin to choose where your time flows. You begin to choose where your energy rests. And at first, this feels strange. You feel guilty for saying no. You feel selfish for stepping back. You feel uncomfortable for not being everything to everyone. But this is not selfishness. This is awareness. This is you realizing that you are not just here to survive for others. You are here to live for Allah. There are moments when Allah teaches you through feeling. He lets you feel what it is like to be taken for granted. He lets you feel what it is like to give without receiving. He lets you feel what it is like to be strong for everyone, but weak alone, not to break you, but to show you where you have been placing your heart. And when you finally see it, something changes. You stop chasing the people who don't protect your peace. You stop explaining yourself to those who don't try to understand. You stop staying in spaces that pull you away from the person you want to be with Allah. You begin to treat your heart the way you would treat something precious. You don't throw it anywhere. You don't leave it unguarded. You don't place it in careless hands. Not because you became cold, but because you finally understood how valuable it is. And that is when you begin to feel a different kind of strength. Not the strength of always being available, not the strength of always being nice, but the strength of being true to what you feel, true to what you need, true to what brings you closer to Allah. You realize that you can still be kind without being broken. You can still be gentle without being drained. You can still be patient without being erased. And this is where Allah wants you to be. Not hard, not closed, not distant, but balanced. A heart that gives but also rests. A heart that loves but also protects. A heart that helps but also heals. And when you begin to live like this, you notice something beautiful. Your connection with Allah feels lighter. Your prayers feel more honest. Your faith feels more real because you are no longer pouring from an empty cup. You are finally letting Allah fill you too. And the more you honor your heart in the way Allah wants, the closer you will feel to Him. Not because you gave less to the world, but because you finally remembered something important. You belong to Allah before you belong to anyone else. And the heart He placed inside you was never meant to be lost in the crowd. When you begin to understand that your heart belongs to Allah before it belongs to the world, something inside you starts to soften in a new way. You stop waking up with the same heavy feeling. You stop carrying every problem that was never meant to live inside you. You stop feeling responsible for fixing everyone around you, not because you stopped caring, but because you finally learned what your role is and what Allah's role is. You realize that you can support people without saving them. You can listen without losing yourself. You can love without disappearing. This is a quiet kind of wisdom that does not come from books. It comes from being tired. It comes from being hurt. It comes from being patient longer than you should have been. Sometimes Allah teaches you through what you feel, not what you hear. You start to notice the small signs. How your chest feels tight when you walk into certain places. How your heart feels calm when you step away from certain conversations. How your soul feels lighter when you choose silence over another argument. These feelings are not random. They are part of how Allah guides you. Your heart is not just something that feels. It is something that recognizes. It recognizes what brings you closer to Allah. It recognizes what pulls you away from Him. It recognizes what helps you grow and what keeps you small. And when you begin to listen to that recognition, you begin to walk differently through life. You stop rushing into everything. You stop reacting to every word. You stop answering every call for your energy. You become slower, not slow in movement, slow in giving access. You pause before you open your heart. You pause before you commit your time. You pause before you pour your emotions into someone or something. And this pause is not fear, it is respect. Respect for what Allah placed inside you. There was a time when you thought being good meant being available all the time. You thought if you were not there, people would leave. You thought if you said no, people would forget you. You thought if you stepped back, you would be alone. But Allah shows you something gentle and powerful. Some people stay not because you give them everything, but because they value who you are. And some people leave not because you became distant, but because they were only there for what you could give, not for who you are. And when those people leave, it hurts. It always hurts. But in that pain, Allah is cleaning space in your heart. Space for peace. Space for sincerity. Space for connections that don't drain you, but grow with you. Sometimes Allah removes people not as a punishment to you, but as a protection for your heart, because not every hand that holds you is meant to guide you. Not every voice that speaks to you is meant to lead you. Not every presence in your life is meant to stay. And when you understand this, you stop chasing what is leaving. You stop begging for what does not want to stay. You begin to stand still and trust that what is meant for you will find you without you losing yourself to keep it. This is not pride. This is tawakkul. Trusting Allah enough to believe that you don't have to break your heart to keep a place in someone else's life. There are moments when Allah shows you your worth in a very quiet way. Not by giving you more people, but by giving you more peace. You sit alone, and instead of feeling empty, you feel calm. You walk away, and instead of feeling lost, you feel light. You say no, and instead of feeling guilty, you feel honest. And you realize something beautiful. Peace feels better than approval. Calm feels better than attention. Being close to Allah feels better than being close to everyone. You begin to see your heart differently. You stop treating it like something that exists to be used. You start treating it like something that exists to be protected. You don't let every word enter it. You don't let every situation live inside it. You don't let every person shape it. Because you understand now, your heart is where your faith lives. And faith needs a safe place to grow. There are nights when you sit quietly and you think about how much you used to give, how much you used to hold, how much you used to carry. And instead of feeling proud, you feel gentle with yourself. You say, I tried my best. You say, I did what I knew at the time. You say, Allah saw me even when no one else did. And in that moment, something inside you heals. Not because the past changes, but because you stop blaming yourself for being kind in a world that didn't always protect kindness. You realize that your softness was never a mistake. It just needed guidance. Guidance to know where to stay. Guidance to know where to step back. Guidance to know when to give and when to guard. And this guidance does not come as a loud voice from the sky. It comes as a feeling in your chest. It comes as a heaviness you can no longer ignore. It comes as a calm you feel when you finally choose yourself for the sake of Allah. You start to build small, quiet boundaries, not walls, boundaries. You don't announce them. You don't explain them to everyone. You simply live them. You leave earlier. You speak less. You choose differently. And the people who respect you adjust. The people who only benefited from you disappear. And in that space, Allah places something better, clarity. You become clear about what you accept. You become clear about what you need. You become clear about what you want your heart to become. And slowly, gently, your relationship with Allah deepens. Because now, when you stand in prayer, you are not just asking Him to fix the world around you. You are asking Him to protect the world inside you. You say, Ya Allah, guard my heart. Ya Allah, don't let me love what pulls me away from you. Ya Allah, don't let me stay where my soul becomes smaller. And these du'as are not signs of weakness. They are signs of awareness. You are aware that your heart can be shaped. You are aware that your heart can be influenced. You are aware that your heart can be guided. And you choose to place that guidance in the hands of Allah, not in the hands of people. There is a quiet kind of strength in this. A strength that does not shout. A strength that does not prove. A strength that simply stands. You walk through life softer but steadier. Kinder but clearer. More open but more careful. And people begin to feel something different about you. Not because you changed into someone else, but because you finally became yourself in the light of Allah. You no longer give from a place of fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of being forgotten. Fear of being replaced. You give from a place of fullness. Fullness of faith. Fullness of peace. Fullness of knowing that what is written for you will never miss you. And this is what it means to honor the heart Allah gave you. Not by closing it, but by placing it in safe hands. First in the hands of Allah. Then in the hands of those who treat it with care. And when you live like this, you begin to feel something you may not have felt in a long time. A gentle kind of peace. Not the peace that comes from everything being perfect, but the peace that comes from knowing that even when things are not perfect, your heart is in the right place with Allah. And that is enough. The discomfort you feel is Allah repositioning you, not rejecting you. There are moments in your life when you walk into a place that once felt warm, and suddenly it feels cold. You sit in a room that used to feel safe, and now your chest feels tight. You speak to people who once understood you, and now your words feel like they fall into silence.